Good.
Fantastic. Great, Kevin. Great to see you today, and you are the ambassador, one of the ambassadors for Bristol European Green
Yeah,
Capital.
one of several. Yeah,
Several.
yeah.
And obviously it's a fantastic year, Bristol 2015. Lots of exciting things that are happening this year. We would really like to see how Selfbuild and people involved housing can play a part in this year for Bristol. How do you see Selfbuild in fitting into creating sustainable homes or sustainable places to live?
No, it's absolutely huge. I mean, the point about, in fact, self-build, if you like, brings with it quality, value for money, sustainability, craft, better built home. All these things happen with self-build and with custom build. When you get people involved with buildings, they care, and the buildings are better for that. Moreover, when people, as you've done here, when people self-build together, what they do magically is, as they plan, manage, build and finish, is that they whip up this magic social glue, which is community, which you can't make. That only comes with time and with energy and effort. And if you're trying to make places which are truly sustainable, we've got to start thinking in the way we manage resources, we share stuff. We've got to start thinking about the spaces in between buildings as much as the architecture of them itself and the building, in order that we become a more socially sustainable society. So things like car clubs, for example, bicycle clubs, cycle networks, food growing, food sharing, local food networks, all of that stuff is crucial in public realm design, in the way that we organise and design the spaces in between buildings. So shared spaces like the one we're standing in, absolutely important. You know, shared play space for children, trampolines for shared tools, rainwater storage and harvesting, all this stuff has a massive effect when we begin to share these resources, because we get the benefit of it all without actually having personally to invest too much in it. And so if you like, from my point of view, sustainability and sustainable construction is all about, in the end, offering more choice, not less. It's about actually increasing people's choice for less money and leading a more collective, a more fulfilling life as well, you know, depending and relying upon each other in the way that as a society we used to do, you know, 60 or 70 years ago.
Okay, so how does, you know, a couple of years ago, both you and I were on a trip to Almere, and we
In Holland, yeah.
in Holland, and it was a fantastic site. You know, the housing minister was there. There was a lot of talk. How can we bring custom build, self-build back to the UK? Really start changing the way housing is delivered here. And one of the key things that we both witnessed is that there's this this sense of trust that the public bodies have with the self-builders coming into play. How do you feel? How do you think that we can create that sense of trust with local authorities and public landowners in the UK?
It's really interesting. Well, I think what we do need and what we don't have is a really creative planning system in the UK. And what we need is proactive planning that's prepared to say to communities, we trust you, come up with a really good scheme, let's collaborate and do something together. So I think if we do more of this, it'll encourage planning departments to be more proactive, and the more they can employ and the more they can get fully up to staff, I think the more of these we'll see.
Yeah.
So it is interdependent, you know, this kind of work and good planning.
Yeah, you touched on the capacity within local authorities, and I think, you know, that is also, you know, local authorities are having to do more and more things within limited budgets, and there's obviously difficulties there, and how we can support, you know, how communities can support local authorities can support communities.
Exactly. So exactly that. Bearing in mind that during the recession, planning departments with a big soft target for cuts, they suffered more than any other department reductions of staffing levels, and on average I think most of them are now running at 50% of what they were before the recession in terms of numbers. So how do we get around that? Well, using the Localism Act, communities can come together, come forward with schemes like this, and sort of do the planner's job for them and say, look, you know, trust us to deliver, trust us to figure out what we want and how we want to organise it, and rely on us to deliver quality, because you don't get it from the big developers. Much more likely to get it from small-scale project owners.
With this year, 2015, how would you like to see, or what would you like to see come out of this year in regards to people-involved housing?
Well, I think the first thing to say about Bristol's status as European Green Capital is that for Bristol simply to preach to its converts, because it's quite a green city already, that's why it's won the award, it isn't good enough. It's like making arts programs for Guardian readers. What you need to do is to go out and preach to those people who don't get the message, who might be influenced and changed. And I'd hoped that we'd have a lot of, for example, a little crop of green construction projects around the city, demonstrating new building techniques or new ideas in social sustainability, whatever it is. And that hasn't happened. But I don't give up hope, because, those European cities of culture that have won that award over the years have usually used the designation more as a springboard, really, to new things. So what I'm hoping is that, in fact, what we're going to see is a sea change in the way that we build and develop in Bristol, and a growth in local food networks and transport networks. And that's going to start this year, and it's going to carry on. It's going to carry on into infinity, but I think it can probably be catalysed by 2050.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kevin.